What's up, gang gang? So at long last, we are back. We are back. And that's because we've been trying to establish our residency in Vermont and get everything squared away here. And we're going to get into one of those stories here in a little bit. This is not a mugshot, just in case you're wondering. But first, smash that like button. Smash that like button. Explode it.
Helps us out.
Helps us out. Helps YouTube out. Because it lets them know that we're putting out good content.
Because we're back after our little hiatus.
After a hiatus.
He yelled out
Kitty in the Water. He's shouting out his channel now. So make sure you go over to Kitty in the Water.
I'll put that below. It's a gaming channel.
Let's get into the state of things as they stand. All right.
How many days has it been? 44 days. Do you know what I'm talking about? 44 days.
And nothing has changed.
Nothing. The only difference, I think, is we don't have...
A little bit less anger.
Yeah.
A little bit less anger.
We don't have random all capital tweets coming out, but then again, that stopped before Biden was president. So what has changed?
Oh, and we're still bombing Syria for no reason.
We're just bombing people.
So, yeah, nothing's really changed. Has anybody out there gotten their stimulus checks yet?
So you got your next stimulus?
How about those who are on unemployment, including us? Including us.
It runs out in 9 days.
9 days. And they're going to do, I feel like they're going to do what they did every other time. They're going to let it run out. And they're going to talk about it for a couple of extra weeks. Yep. And then they're not going to make that money retroactive. Screwing the people once again. And then when people do get their $1,400 stimulus checks, guess what that does? That basically covers the weeks that you didn't get your unemployment.
It digs you out of that hole you were in, you know? And for those that don't get unemployment, and they only have like the stimulus checks and then what they have coming in other ways, or even some people, nothing. They're literally struggling and not even getting a stimulus and not getting any other help. And they're over there just playing around. We gotta take another day off. Let's go on vacation.
Because Trump was gonna become president again somehow yesterday.
Yeah, that was a conspiracy theory going around.
And they literally wanted to wrap up the day before so that they didn't have to come in yesterday. What? These people will do anything that they can do to get out of work and not help the American people whatsoever.
Yep.
And it's like, what do we do about it? You know, because it's such a miasma, right? Then you've got this news coming out about Mitch McConnell, right? That he's supposedly not knowing if he's going to finish out his term. So he's trying to pass a bill in Kentucky, right? Because the way the law reads right now is that if Mitch McConnell doesn't finish out his term, then the Democratic person who's down there, I think it's the governor, the Democratic governor, gets to pick his successor. So he's trying to push through a bill right now in Kentucky to make it to where the Republicans maintain control, where he can pick his own successor.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
You know what's crazy about this? Is a long, long time ago, we threw off the chains of England, right? Supposedly threw off the chains of England. But for the same stuff. Because we didn't want kings and queens running our lives.
We wanted democracy, a republic.
And yet we have this system that is almost identical to what goes on in England. You got successors. Like, how are we going to throw off the chains of England and then turn around and do the same thing? You know why? Because it works. It works. It allows the people who are in control to maintain control.
And it keeps us all starving and homeless and listening to those in command.
Y'all like my shirt? I think we should go ahead and we should tell the story now.
You want to tell the story?
We'll go ahead and wrap this video up with the frustration of Congress. We know that they're not going to do anything to help us.
The Senate has modified the bill. They took out the $15 an hour.
Oh, how did that fight go?
So they've already given up that fight. And they also lowered the threshold for getting the stimulus checks. They did lower it again. So now we got to wait some more. So on to the story.
Because they don't care.
They don't care about us.
So getting our stuff in order in Vermont, we had to go get our licenses.
The DMV.
The DMV. We had to take a trip to the DMV.
Why can't they make it all online? Anyways.
It seems like they could. But then again, you know, you got to go in for that eye test. And this was such a delightful story. But if you take a look at this picture right here.
License picture.
This is what is going to be on my Vermont Real ID driver's license. And the story of how that went is we get in there and I get called up to the window and I hit it off with the guy that's there.
They had a little bit of a bromance, you know.
He was a very pleasurable person to talk to. He was very funny. And so we go to take the picture for the license, right? He looks at me and he's like, you know, he was like, you don't have to take off the hat. We prefer that you take off the hat, but we won't ask you to take off the hat.
Which I didn't know they could do that.
And I said, so I can keep on my hat? He said, yes, if you want to. And I was like, well, you know what? I represent Andrew Yang, so I am going to keep on the hat. I represent the Yang Gang. So yay. My picture on my Vermont driver's license will have, we'll be repping the Yang Gang. And it was so funny because when it came to the eye test, right? And I'm not gonna put this dude out there, but I'm sitting there and, you know, like, I'm very left eye dominant. And I'm sitting there trying to look through the thing and he said, read the 5th line. And I did it awesome with my left eye. And he was like, now read it from the right side. And I'm sitting there and I'm like moving around trying to like.
Because it was just a blurry blob?
Yeah, it was a blurry blob, so I'm moving around trying to figure out what it is or whatever. And he was like, well, let me help you out. And he shuts off the entire left side, which makes the entire right side even more blurry. Like I literally cannot tell what these letters are. And for like 30 seconds, I'm like moving around, and finally like my left eye catches the right side and I read it off real fast.
Just test my left eye twice, he says.
Yeah. And the guy looks at me and he goes, you're left eye dominant like me, aren't you? I started laughing. I was like, I guess so.
Who needs the right eye when they're driving anyway?
Yeah, who needs the right eye? So anyway, as I get up to leave, he stops and he's like, you know what? He was like, I really like your shirt. And I was like, thanks, dude. That's really awesome. And so we got out of there, thank goodness, with 2 Vermont Real IDs.
Yay, we're Real ID compliant.
And
it's so annoying, but you gotta have it.
And repping the Yang Gang. Mm-hmm. So I think that was an all-around win.
Even though going to the DMV sucks and being in public around all the people. You know,
hate it. Oh, it's aggravating.
But it was smooth.
Smooth sailing. Well, we love you, Yang Gang. And if you thought this video was cool, please share it out. We love you. See you on the next one.